Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. What you're seeing is the top of my boxwood, the one that I planted up on a little hill. And today I want to prune it up a little bit to try and get a little more definition, a little more directional pruning happening. I watched a video this morning from Nigel Saunders. Hope you all have seen it. It begins with a lecture on how you get fine twigging and how you get good ramification and how you get taper on your branching. Now, I'll pan back and let you see the rest of this tree. It's got a great start. I probably should have employed those techniques earlier on so I get a little bit more taper on my primary branching, but it is what it is. I'm not going to cut them back all the way. What I really need to do is fill in this area here, and I want to, now that it has begun to ramify from the pruning that I did last time, I want to take a look at each branch, cut them back, remove branches that I think are going in the wrong direction, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do with this little plastic pot and the landscape that it wants to be. All right, let's take a better look at this from the proper angle. Here's a shot looking more down at the tree. I wanted to highlight the area that I want to have fill in. I have branching that's heading in that direction, and I'm going to make my selections based on which branches can help fill this area best going forward and are in the right direction. So that's one of my goals also, is to fill in this area over time. It looks great from my preferred viewing angle, which is slightly below and looking up at this because you're looking up a hill. But I like things to look good from all directions, and it doesn't look good looking down at it. Got to fill in this area somehow. So keep that in the back of your mind, and I will attempt to start pruning this thing up smartly. I'm not sure how I'm going to isolate each branch so that you can see it clearly. But this branch here comes up and divides into two. It's a Y-shaped branch. I'm fine with that because they fill in different parts of the bottom of the tree. This particular section, I'm still struggling with how I'm going to show this to you. I'm hoping you can see this branch right here. It comes up and divides into two. One is going to the inside middle of the cluster. I'm going to leave that because I'm hoping it grows up this way a little bit more so that this section, which will be a pad, can get filled in over here a little bit with this branch in the middle. So I'm going to leave that. This section comes out and divides into two, which is great, but I want to shorten that so that I get some more growth up in this direction. So this leaf is headed in this direction. I'm going to shorten this to here, hoping that I get growth coming up there. And I'm going to shorten this by just taking the growing tip off. All right, and that should do what I want it to do. Okay, moving on to this branch. Moving up this branch, I've got a stub in the middle. I took out the middle piece, and it went into a Y, kind of a wide Y. I did that on purpose. This one comes up, and you've got really not much in the way of new growth here. It has slowed down, and this part of the branch is taking off. So I want to slow this part down even more. And how do I want to do that? This comes up and divides into 3. I got a weak one going out in this direction. I'm going to take that off completely. And this, I hope you can see this. This one comes up and has 2 leaves here, and then another 2 leaves facing the same direction. I'm thinking that that could be branching. Yeah, so by cutting this off to here, I flatten this out, reduce the vigor on this one long branch, and I'm hoping that I get more growth coming in this way. Now, I think I do need to stunt the growth on this section a little bit in order to pump more energy into that one. So, what do I want to do? All right, this branch comes up and divides into 3. If I take the middle one out, that's good. Except I do want to grow in this direction a little bit. Why don't I just shorten that middle one? And there's a leaf facing this way, so maybe something will come up. I'm just going to take the tip off of this. And I'm going to take the tip off of this. So these branches down below, they're good. This one comes up, and there's where I pruned it before. 2 branches came out. I've got this one going down that I can take off. All right, I'm just going to leave this one for now. Moving on to this branch. This comes up and divides into 2 right here at the end of the branch, but I'm not thrilled with the direction it's going, so I'm going to cut this one back. To here. That'll remove the interference somewhat. I'm going to shorten this one a little bit. Hope you can see that. All right, so that's that. This one, I'd like it to twig out in this direction, so I'm going to take the tip off of this. And these boxwoods are just phenomenal. Okay, that's growing really strong, but let's see what else is happening with it. All right, it's just coming out too far. So, how do I want this thing to grow? I think I want these branches flowing outwards, so I'm trimming that one back. I got some good separation now between this branch and the one above it. I'm going to trim this one back. I got quite a bit more growth here than I thought I would. I know some others have said they've seen more growth on their boxwoods than they've expected. I know Candace from Bonsai Science had said that. And I've got a flatter pad beginning here. I'm going to shorten this back a little further. I'm going to prune this one back as well. All right, and I'm encouraging more fine twigging to happen. That's really what I want. I'm going to cut off this old damaged leaf here. The glove is to protect my thumb, which was damaged in a table saw accident. Not too badly. It'll be fine. Okay, I like what I've done here. I think I'm going to take this back further. Okay, let's go to the branch above it. Okay, you can see clearly here the work that I did. Let's see what's going on with this branch above it. That's starting to grow upwards, which is not bad in the overall scheme of things. I do like that this is rounding like that. There's a stub here I can take off. I'm just going to remove a few leaves in the crotches with this branch. Once again, I have a situation where it's much more hardy and with a lot growing right here and less so over here, or it has slowed down somewhat. But I want to slow it down even more and maybe get a little bit more ramification here. Let's see how many divisions we have. This divides into 2, and moving up it divides into 2. Right at an old cut point. So, how do I want this to grow? I think I'm going to cut this back to here and cut this one back to here. above it. I don't need this leaf. Cut that off. Okay, I want this to look a little less juvenile, so I'm going to take these little leaves off that are growing up the middle. Probably just pull them out better. I think I'm going to take the top off of this, and I'm going to go way back to here on this one. And that came up and divided into two. Took the top off of that. I'm going to take the end off of this. And I'm going to take the end off of this and the tip right off of that one. Now it's going to take me a long time to be able to fill this area in. I've got this one coming up, which I'm going to let extend, get a little harder. These branches, this one's coming in a funny direction. So I want to change that direction, but I think the best bet for that is right here. I have a branch that's kind of going out that way. I think what I'm going to do is take off the vertical part from that point up. And I'm going to take the part of it that's growing back toward the tree. This part right here. Right here. Okay, now the branch will grow in that direction. At least I hope so. Okay, these two branches, it's a little too tall, and I want the twigging to ramify, I think, in this direction mostly. That was a no-brainer. This one, do I want it? I think I do, but I think I want it reduced to there. Okay, so that has this entire, now I'm going to let those extend. That has this entire tree pruned up. All right, so that's the view of that entire little tree. Moving on to the other tree. This one, the low branch, I love this low branch. But it's getting a little out of hand. And it doesn't have much in the way of new growth on it. So let me try and stimulate some new growth. This comes up and the whole thing divides into two right here. I'm going to take this lowest leaf off. It divides into two, and this one divides into two again. But I think this one is getting too long. And this one is getting too long. And this just comes off of the branch and does not divide at all. Take these little leaves off. So I want it to be about the same length as the other one, and hopefully it'll divide again. So I'm going to take it to here. Is that a good spot? I think there is better. So let's see what happens with that one now. Once again, I got the separation between that and the branch above it, although this old leaf is a little in the way. There's a damaged leaf here. I'm going to gather these little tiny leaves for my carnage cam for Blue Jay bonsai. Okay, that's this. Moving up now, the next highest branch is this one. It comes up pretty straight. This is an example of one of those branches that didn't taper much because of my knowledge way back when I started this tree. I'm going to take this to there. This one is going a little wild. I'm going to take this one back to here. This one's growing up, but out. So I think I'm going to leave that one. There's a section of this branch that's growing straight up. I'm going to take that out. Shorten a pruning stub. Comes up, divides into two. And take it back to the first set of leaves here. And this back to the first set of new leaves here. I know I said I was going to leave this, but I'm just going to take the tip off. I have some fertilizer tea bags on this outside, and when I put it back out, I'll put those fertilizer, the BioGold tea bags back on it. Let's see, this. I'm going to take it way back. Now, do I really want to do that? This is the one I want to grow up. I'm just going to let this one extend, as I said before. All right, so let's move on to this branch here, which is this thick branch as it comes up. Okay, the first division on this branch comes up and it divides into two, but I think this first division isn't helpful. The section coming down is good, but I think I want to shorten it to here. It's not straight down, it's still growing out. All right, so now I took away an earlier division, but this comes up and divides into two. I like it. I'm just going to take the tip off. And the tip off there. When you got the leaves opposite like that, you want it to grow in one direction but maybe not the other. That becomes a pruning decision for later on. And these divided here, and I like that. So this will be a little pad unto itself. And this should be a little pad unto itself. They kind of merge into one another, but let's study this side now. Make sure you can see it. Okay, this comes up. Got a little side branch here. It's got a lot of new growth on it, but it kind of kicks over in a funny direction. Do I need it? I don't think I need it. I'm going to take that part off. There's a tiny little branch growing straight up here. I don't think I need that either. I'm going to have this divide. This branch I like this one that comes out, and this one sort of comes out, but then there's one up here that goes straight up. I'm going to take that out completely. And once again, I pray that I'm not making mistakes. I'm going to shorten this. A little crowded in here, so I'm going to take a earlier division out. I hate to reduce my ramification, but sometimes you just have to. All right, I'm going to leave that branch the way it is. Wait, what's going on down here? Take this lower part off. So now it's flat down below, flat up on top, and directionally things are going to start growing in this direction. I hope. That's the plan anyway. I want to go back to the front, which is about there. Flat, flat, separated, separated, flat, separated. Okay. Let's go to this part of this branch. There isn't much to that, but I can improve it, I think, by cutting to there. And cutting to here. Maybe I want to go down a little further here. I see two tiny little buds there. I want to give them a chance. All right. Working my way around. So I've gotten this. I've gotten this. This has some opportunity to help fill in this area as well, but I want to get it going in the right direction, which I don't believe it is right now. So I'm going to take the tip off of this. There's no ramification on that at all, but maybe now there will be. All right, I'm going to want, with this as my apex, I'm going to want some separation between this branch and this one. And I can get that by taking that off. Taking this off. Removing some old leaves. I want this to ramify here. And I want this to ramify back here. This I'm going to shorten back to here. This I'm going to take way back. This I'm going to take back to here. Above it, I like what's happening here, but I'm going to take the tips off. See if I can get some finer twigging. And to even out the vigor. I'll take that back further. Now I'm going to leave it. No, I'm going to take it off. This is getting crowded here. All right, moving up, which is back here. Got to keep that front vantage point going, even though I'm rotating to the back of the tree. Put the tree in the center of the turntable, even though it's not in the center of the pot. That'll make a difference. Okay, we're around back now. So we've got something happening here that I want to check out from the front. These things are curving back, or at least one branch is curving back. I think I'm going to take this woody section off. I'm going to reduce these two down to leaves that flow in this direction. This one back to here. All right, I can see what's going on here. I think I'm going to take this one back to there. And this one back to here. I'll go back further on this one. This one's going straight up. And I want to shorten this one. Now it's a matter of keeping on these long ones to try and get some finer twigging. I'm not seeing any insect growth on this tree at all. I'm thrilled. Okay, this is basically the last branch right here. Basically, it is the last branch. Yeah. So, I don't need this height quite so far. Take that back. This goes up, divides into two. This one doesn't divide. So I'll take that off. This divides into two. Take that back to there. Take that back to there. This one to here. And this one to here. And I think I have my tree pruned up. Okay, let's zoom out and have a look at it. So just before we take a 360, I just want you to see the carnage. I did take quite a bit off, considering how much left there is. I'm still having an issue with what's going on in here, but hopefully I've set it up to grow into this area nicely. This branch and this branch, once they start to ramify. I'm just going to let those extend a little bit further. All right, that's my preferred front. Right about there. Coming around to the right side of the tree. A little bit flat in that view. Coming around to the back of the tree, which, if you remember, was my original front. I think I made the right choice. Coming back to the left side of the tree, also pretty flat from that view. I'm going to have to try and fill this area out a little bit. That one's extending, that's good. And back to the front.